Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Catching Up with the Rafters. This video series will be a series where we interview and chat with any former Rafter coach, player, anybody affiliated with the team. And today I want to welcome Billy Black as my guest on this episode. Billy was a two-year Rafter in 2020 and 2021, played his college career at Columbia University in New York. During his time with the Rafters, he pitched over 50 innings and faced 240 batters. And during his last season at Columbia in 2022, Billy was a part of the Lions team who broke their program record win streak at 19 games in a row after the team took 2 years off due to COVID. Billy was named the Ivy League Pitcher of the Week during that stretch after giving up 0 runs over 4 2/3 innings and collecting a save. Billy is currently pursuing his master's degree in sports management at Columbia and has shifted to the soccer world, being a media intern for the FC Bayern at the New York office. Thanks for joining me today, Billy.
Thank you. That was a very generous introduction. You used some of the good stats, not the bad ones. So thank you.
Always. I think it's only right that we start by starting today's conversation by talking about your kind of seasons here in Wisconsin Rapids. You came out here in 2020 when the world was shut down, and we weren't even sure if there was going to be a Northwoods League season. Can you just talk about what that was like coming to Wisconsin Rapids in the middle of a pandemic, the uncertainty around the season?
Yeah, so it's a little bit weird. Obviously, in March, our Columbia season got canceled, and then everybody got sent home. The pandemic was hitting its peak in the U.S., and it was a period of uncertainty for all of us. So I was supposed to play out in California for that summer, but that league ended up canceling, as many other summer leagues did. And then I got a text from my pitching coach asking if I had any interest in going to play in the Northwoods. And throughout the pandemic, when we got sent home, I was training every day like I was going to be able to pitch next week, but I had a feeling that I wasn't going to be able to play anywhere. So when the coach gave me that call, I said, absolutely. And a few days later, I ended up just hopping in my car and driving out to Wisconsin. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, was going out for that first season in 2020. I had a great time. The community of Wisconsin Rapids was incredible, so supportive of all of us, even with all the restrictions going on. And I loved it so much. I ended up coming back for the next summer, 2021. So obviously I loved it.
Yeah, of course. Being a two-year Rafter, I think obviously, you took a good experience after the first year, and obviously 21 was a little bit, better in the world. So I'm glad you got to experience that. Just looking back at your time in the Northwoods League, more specifically, obviously, your time with the Rafters, what would you say you learned the most or took from the experience for playing summer ball here?
I think not necessarily something that I learned, but something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life is just the relationships that I've made over my 2 summers in Wisconsin. The first summer was shortened a little bit, but the 2021 summer was a full 72 game in 75-day schedule. And that's something that a lot of players don't necessarily look forward to, because it's really mentally draining. It's tough on the body, but just making those 6-hour road trips and then turning around, coming home, playing the next day, you create these bonds with your teammates. And it's something like I'll have lifelong friends from my 2 summers in Wisconsin. Also, just feeling the engagement of the community at every home game, and even at some away games, people traveling hours to come watch. It's something that I never experienced before in the other summer ball leagues that I played with. So I'm very grateful for that experience.
Yeah, what was the experience like? I know we had a lot of returners in 21 that were there in 2020. What was that relationship like with the team overall? Just, coming together in the middle of a pandemic, and then, obviously all deciding to come back in 21 and play the full 72 games. Kind of what was that like, and what was your guys' mindset, coming into a next season?
I just think that speaks to the experience that Wisconsin Rapids created as a community for all of the players. All of the host families were awesome. I'll do a quick shout out to Brian and Tammy Evans. I came back and lived with them for a second summer. I was very thankful for them having me. But yeah, we all thought when we came back that it was just one of the best summer ball experiences that you could have. The league is very competitive. There's a lot of talent, so you're challenging yourself in that way every single day. Obviously, the travel and all of the games are difficult as well. But we all felt that the league was making us better, not only as players, but as teammates, friends, whatever else that may be. So that's kind of the reason why a lot of us decided to come back for a second summer. And it was awesome just reuniting with that group of guys again.
Yeah, I think that, again, kind of speaking on Wisconsin Rapids, I think from my experience, again, I was an intern and kind of able to come back as a full-time staff member. It was the same thing, on the opposite side, being a staff member. I was like, this community was 100% in, and that's kind of why I wanted to come back and, be a part of this. Let's kind of transition to your time at Columbia. I mentioned before you were part of a historic season, and you actually got to pitch in an NCAA tournament first round game against Gonzaga. And actually earned the win. How did it feel playing in a game like that?
It's definitely a little bit nerve wracking, but bringing it back to summer ball a little bit, I told my coaches, I mean, a lot of us at Columbia, it's a mid-major Ivy League school, so we don't play in these big stadiums, but those of us that have played in the Northwoods, whether it's Madison or Wisconsin Rapids, where a lot of time there's thousands of fans there, that prepares you really well to pitch in big environments like Virginia Tech. So obviously it was a little bit different being for school rather than summer ball, because in the NCAA tournament, like, it really matters. Summer ball, it does matter, but it's you're there to get better, so there's not as much pressure. So yeah, I was obviously nervous, but it was probably a top 3 moment in my baseball career, playing in front of that many people in the NCAA tournament at Virginia Tech. And I knew that it was going to be most likely the last outing I ever had in my collegiate baseball career. So I really just tried to soak it all in, enjoy every second of it, and just make the most of that outing. Turned out well, so it was a good experience.
Yeah, good. And you were obviously named a team captain in your last season at Columbia. After not playing college ball for 2 seasons, I saw that you guys only had 19 players who had Division I experience coming into that next season. How did you help lead, the Lions as a captain? What did you try to tell or teach them about your kind of experience playing college ball?
So it was a little bit difficult. Those that know me from Wisconsin Rapids know that I'm pretty vocal, not necessarily the traditional Tom Brady style leadership, but I tried to lead by my attitude every day, showing up to the field, and how I treat my teammates and the relationships that I have with anybody involved with the team, and just my attitude when I'm pitching and training. I try and treat every single practice and bullpen like it's the real deal. And I think other teammates, the freshmen and sophomores, so we missed 2 seasons because of COVID. So freshmen and sophomores had 0 baseball experience. So I just tried to make myself available, reach out to them, let them know my experiences and what I've been through at Columbia, what a Division I baseball season is like, just help them out in any way that I can. Obviously, for 2 years, I couldn't be with them, but that didn't mean that I couldn't be there for them, whether it's a phone call or a text message or FaceTime. I think checking in with those guys made all the difference, and it helped us form a bond with each other before we even stepped on campus. And I think that was a big reason of why this team was so special this last spring.
Yeah, for sure. And while I was looking up some ideas and topics for this conversation, I happened to come across the New York Post article about Plushy the Rats. Now you have to tell us and the listeners a little bit more about that.
So Plushy the Rat is it was kind of like our team mascot. There was we went and played Baylor early in the year, and we ended up losing 2 out of 3, but we split a doubleheader with them and then lost in extra innings on the 3rd day. And this has happened a couple times in my collegiate career, where coaches will say in a news article or something like, "Oh, Columbia's scrappy, they're ratty, they fight and claw," and that kind of became a little bit of a team mantra. We felt a little bit disrespected by it because we think we're a very talented program. It's not that we're ratty or gritty or anything. So it started out as a joke. We started calling ourselves a ratty team, and then somebody ordered this 2 or 3 foot long stuffed rat, and then it started coming with us on every single trip. Her name ended up being Plushy, and the rest is history. She was like our good luck charm for the whole season, especially during that 19-game win streak.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of shift over to today. You have had the opportunity to be a media intern for this soccer club. How has that experience been like, and what's the daily life of a media intern in New York?
It's been awesome so far. I mean, there are definitely certain things that I miss, like being on a team and competing every weekend in baseball. But I feel like I've taken those lessons and transitioned them so far into my work experience. So as a media intern, I run the FC Bayern US Twitter and Facebook channels and help segment content on Instagram. As well as researching and creating some new content ideas. So I'll work with our freelance graphic designer. And then I've also had some exposure to the sponsorship side. So I'm helping out in that area as well. But one thing I had the pleasure of going on summer tour, which, as you may know, we got to go to Lambeau Field to play Manchester City. So that was an unbelievable experience. Going back to Wisconsin, it was great.
Yeah, that was kind of my last thing. It was we actually made it back to Wisconsin.
I did make it back.
I'm sure you never thought it would be for this side of things. Getting
Yeah.
to work a soccer game that was played at Lambeau Field. Everybody in Wisconsin obviously knows the value of Lambeau Field. It's the smallest market of the NFL team, right? They hold 80,000 people. To bring in such an international soccer game to what people would call a small town Wisconsin. What was that like? And you were surrounded by all those people. What was that moment like for you?
It was really special because FC Bayern is actually all of the German soccer league is very similar to the way the Green Bay Packers are run because FC Bayern is 75% fan owned. I think Green Bay is 100% fan owned, but FC Bayern 75% fan owned. So they have a lot of stake and control in the club. Their values are very similar. The community is the same way. They all absolutely love the team. So it was really interesting to see the German version of the Green Bay Packers come and play against one of England's biggest and richest teams in Lambeau Field. I haven't been to the Allianz Arena in Germany, but it has the same weight and value that Lambeau Field does to the NFL in terms of history and what it means to the people. So it was a really special experience. And just talking to fans that came from all over the United States to see the game. It was kind of like a dream come true for my first few months in the working world.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I have to mention it because I know we had a ton of rain delays, ton of lightning in Wisconsin Rapids in 2010. Of course, you come back to Wisconsin and there's lightning at Green Bay.
I thought I was gonna have to tarp the field again.
Exactly. Is that full circle for you? Coming back to Wisconsin and seeing some lightning and rain.
Yeah. It was. We definitely did come full circle. I didn't have to pull tarp, but it brought back some memories. And I think it was 2021, my first game back out at Wicker Field, rain delay. I ended up pitching. I stepped on the mound like after midnight. It was. It was fine.
It was opening. Yeah, it was opening day against the Woodchucks. I was the video director and first time directing a broadcast in a game like this. And sure enough, we had a 3.5-hour rain delay, and we finished the game I think right around curfew at about 12:45. So definitely an experience. The rain and lightning in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm pretty sure I blew that game, but we don't need to
we won't talk about that. But Billy, I just want to thank you so much for your time today. You were a fan favorite here in Wisconsin Rapids. Before I let you go, I want you to give your favorite memory from your time here in Wisconsin Rapids.
Ooh, okay. There's definitely a lot of memories to choose from. This isn't the best result, but I would say that COVID summer hosting the playoff game against the Loggers, the atmosphere in the stadium was something that I'll never forget. And I think the stadium had just opened up to full capacity by that point. And it was a special environment. All of the fans and the team were just very locked in on that one moment. And it was just a moment where everybody came together, and it was something that I'll never forget. And I'm very thankful for the community for having me for those 2 summers. And hopefully I'll be back at some point.
For sure. I think everybody would want you back. Our season ticket holders definitely won't forget your name and face.
I'll play music one more time from the press box.
Exactly. We need that. Well, thank you so much, Billy. Listeners, make sure you tune in to next episode of Catching Up with the Rafters.